just finished playing a session, and this was one of the final hands of that particular session. I thought it was a good hand to make a video about because it shows a few things that you can do that wouldn't usually crop up. It's a pretty rare circumstance, but it's a good basic introduction to certain theories, which I'll talk about towards the end of the hand. But let's just see it through to begin with. History on villain. He is fairly aggressive, fairly tight pre-flop, I would say, but not all that competent. He seems good enough to read our hand in certain situations, but not a particularly deep thinker. He just reads our hand at face value, what it appears to be. So anyway, we're here with Ace Queen, and we raise 3 times the big blind and get called, and we miss the flop. There comes 7 Jack 7 rainbow. He checks it to us, and we could bet here, but there's not really much point because our hand has a lot of showdown value, and we don't want to get check raised on the flop because then we won't be able to hit an ace or a queen at all. So I think just checking back here is the right move, which we indeed do. Turn comes a 5, and he fires out for $9. He has read our hand correctly for what it is, which is ace high. He's been doing this quite a bit before. When we've been, or when I've been checking back flops, he's been firing out on the turn to try and take it down, and he's been relatively successful at it. I haven't really looked him up at any point. Now, it's unlikely that he's going to hit any of that, to be honest. I mean, I don't think he'd be betting with a 5, so he's only ever betting with a 7 or a jack there, and it's unlikely that he's hit it, so it's much more likely that he's going to be bluffing. So it's worth a call. First of all, because we might already have the best hand with ace queen. Second of all, if he does have a pair of jacks, we can improve to a higher pair on the river, so we could be drawing. And thirdly, we can possibly make a move on the river. So go ahead and call, and the river comes down a king, and he fires for the full pot of $30. Now, this brings up one of the points that I was talking about at the beginning, which is polarization. Polarization, for those of you that don't know, is where you either have an incredibly strong hand or you have nothing at all. There's nothing in the middle, as it were. Hence, now usually when you talk about a player having a polarized hand range, his hand is usually a little more stark than this. I mean, a good example would be a heavily suited, unconnected board, player either having a straight or a flush in that situation. But here it's a little bit more open. When I say his range is polarized, I think he's either betting a 7 here, and he's betting nothing else. He's check calling with any other hand, pretty much. Now this is read dependent, so you need to adjust to a particular opponent. But this particular guy that I'm playing at the moment, he's the kind of player that if he did have a jack, or even if he did river a miracle king, he's going to try and check call with it. He's not wanting to invest too much with the worst hand. So given my read on the flop that I think he didn't really hit much of it, there's a big chance he could be bluffing, and given that I think his range is polarized here to either having a 7 or none of it, not a single pair, then I think that it's okay to make a bluff, which I indeed do, to 90. Now this move should be used extremely sparsely, mainly because of the size of the pot. We're betting $90 to try and win 60, the 30 in the middle of the 30 that he's bet into it. So we need to win it 3 and 5 times, well over half, for it to be break even, let alone profitable. So you need to be really certain that this is a good move to make, and I believe, for the reasons that I've just given, that it was, and as a result he folds, and we add to our stack a little bit, but it's a bit that we might have missed had we not implemented this tactic. So effectively that's what I wanted to show you, about how you can use reads about a player's style, about past experience of how he's acted in similar situations, and a concept such as polarization to act in your favour and let you take down a pot that usually you wouldn't have won. as I said, this was just a very, very quick hand from a session I've only just finished. But if you want any more videos or tips or advice, then please check out my website at ExtremePokerTips.com. Thanks very much.